Big CT with Jamietud over here. And
Hi, Maytude. Hi, Maytude. Hi, Maytude.
and we're going to be doing a little bit of a podcast, review stuff of one of the most, honestly, right now, the best, the biggest video game movie right now, Sonic
Mm-hmm.
2.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's officially it's officially pretty much reached the point now where they have bragging rights. The studio is bragging about, oh yeah, it's the #1 movie right now worldwide.
yeah, and it's not only that, it is the biggest movie in, I
Mhm.
believe, for Jim Carrey's career, which is, to me, when you look at what his stuff like The Mask and Ace Ventura and all the other stuff he's been in,
Mhm.
it's pretty shocking. And like, who would have thought Sonic 2 and some people say, well, this might be his last joint. I'm like, no, he's coming back.
You're not, yeah, you're not going to say no to that paycheck, sir. Your grandkids play these games.
Oh
They
yeah,
want to see
and
you.
yeah, and according right now, right now internationally, it is made worldwide is made around over 141 million, which is um wow, that is
Yeah,
like yeah,
that is that is pretty impressive, especially just for one weekend.
one weekend. And by the way, pretty much took down Mobius and Ambulance, which was a surprise. I'm surprised that movie was even out. I thought it was gonna be coming out like in May or something. But
Hmm.
yeah, it just took that out and it became one of the most like I said, this is the most successful and honestly critically acclaimed video game movie of right now. Probably not just probably all time because right now you had like Uncharted, which was mediocre, Mortal Kombat, which was and I mean,
I
I
still
mean,
enjoy Mortal Kombat. I have that on DVD.
oh yeah, no, I'm talking about the new one, the 2021
Oh,
one,
that.
which was nice fights, but not as what would you call it? The story was all muddled and everything. The Mortal Kombat in the '90s, that was good. I mean, I
Hmm.
honestly think I still think as video game movies go, I think that's still the top dog in my opinion. The original Mortal Kombat back in the early '90s. This though is close though because you talk about a movie that actually listened and gave the fans what it want. Um, it did. You have more Sonic and Tails and Knuckles and such. The less
Hmm.
human characters, which they weren't bad, but in a movie called Sonic the Hedgehog, they're going to be secondary.
You want to focus on Sonic and his new set of pals here. That reminds me, is this gonna be a spoiler review or?
Oh yes, it's spoiled. But people already see it. Or is going to see it, and that's what we look at I'm like spoiler review because I usually when I do these reviews, it's all spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie, pause the review, go see it. It's probably playing where you are. Go play it, go watch it, and then after that, come back and watch us two Sonic fans actually discuss this in a semi-serious matter.
Hmm. Yeah. If anybody asks, I got this at my local Cinemark theater when we went to go see the movie. But yeah, that's our. I did a separate vlog right there talking about that, along with they were giving these out for free.
Oh, lucky you! My theater didn't get any of that. It was just like only thing I saw in my theater was some Minion stuff. Like I'm like,
Oh,
oh man, yeah,
no
they were
swag.
nothing, nothing at all.
Uh,
But the story starts
mm-hmm.
off. I like the fact it was you have like a Robotnik still in that mushroom planet,
Mm-hmm.
slowly losing his mind and doing all this type of stuff. Um,
Guess he
building
did.
his yeah.
Guess he didn't get home for Christmas after all.
And he just like he still had all those metal parts, but he just he was doing all this stuff slowly but surely, drinking nothing but mushroom coffee, and slowly losing and getting more insane.
Mm-hmm.
And then, he uses his big power thing, this huge like satellite thing to get to actually want to use his son as quills to bring himself like get someone to help him to bring him back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and it's just you have these like human warriors. We don't know who these guys are. You know.
Oh yeah. But we do know Knuckles when he shows up, and that's how they end up getting off the planet, getting off that mushroom planet together.
Mm. And
So
yeah,
so after that we got Sonic playing superhero basically with his speed and whatnot, and
Blue
pulling
Justice.
Blue Justice, and and you know I don't know about you, but I kind of got some John Hughes vibes when they found out when Tom found out he was disappearing at night. Because he
Yeah, it
comes
just
across the dummy.
reminded. Yeah, it was really like that '80s type of vibe or whatever. Him being that superhero and such, which it's kind of funny how it's funny how he's just doing all this crazy stuff and he's like going like fast, like going like doing all this other stuff and the bombs or whatever. It just reminds me a bit of like what was the Sonic Adventure esque, him
Hmm.
like saying, "Oh yeah, this is happening," and the police following chaos and such, which look like in the end of the movie goes like they're going straight to Adventure too. But I did like that the kind of the homage to like the beginnings of Sonic Adventure One. That's
Oh
what I
yes, with the sewer blowing up there.
yeah.
That was it hadn't quite dawned on me until after I left the theater and watched one of those. Did you catch this? Did you catch this type of videos? And yeah, that I was like, I should have caught that. I was there. I was there day one for the Dreamcast. How dare I miss that?
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Tails shows up, uh, and we finally figure out why he's here. And he's just and yep, it's my boy. He's in the movie.
Yeah,
Uh,
and the reason why he's there is to just say, talk to get Sonic to get like a message about the Master Emerald and such,
hmm
which Knuckles is looking for as well, which is interesting. It's just like oh my goodness, um,
mm.
how Knuckles and by the way, the first fight was like wow. It shows how like Knuckles is just
He's
you
a
know
badass.
Oh yeah, and Illusola did a really good job of, you know.
And he did a good job playing this character. I thought I was a little bit I was a little bit worried because I'm used to the I'm well, obviously we're all used to the game voices. I was or some of the TV show voices like for kids and whatnot. I I am trying to gravitate towards this particular Knuckles, and I'm just thinking to myself, okay, you got an Academy Award nominated actor to play Red Echidna. Um, what is up with his accent?
Hmm.
I don't know if you, I don't know if it bothered you, but it was kind of a
Well,
minor pet peeve.
it fit. It fit with I think it fit with him because Knuckles, Island, all the stuff. He feels like he's not a part of the old Sonic, like he's not not as like the fast talking city slicker type of Sonic that he is. He is this huge big warrior, and it just fits. To me, it reminds me a mix of like the Sonic X and also Sonic Boom Knuckles. of
Mm.
his being this so big, strong dude, but also just so aloof and such. It reminds a bit of Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy, but also again Sonic Boom and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have these guys in here. They're all in a race for the Master Emerald, and it's they all have their different reasons for finding it. Robotnik and sorry about that. Robotnik and Knuckles are working together because Knuckles wants to return the emerald to his tribe, not knowing that Dr. Robotnik is taking it for himself uh, so he can power the ultimate weapon or whatever. You don't find out, or you don't find out until the end of the movie. Um, and Tails and Sonic are just out to find the Master Emerald to basically stop them from getting it,
Oh
which
yeah,
is
it was good, and the one thing I always liked is like here, at least they're playing with the whole Knuckles joining with Robotnik. It feels like more. I'm like I was worried a bit. I'm like, oh, how bad is? I'm like, oh, what they're gonna do? I'm gonna make him a little too. I'm like, it does fit with
mm-hmm.
Knuckles' personality. It does like okay, Knuckles has his whole feud with Sonic, and not only that, but the Long Claw with that type of the brown the big owl and their whole feud and everything else for Knuckles and everything else and his tribe. And he's like he's now focused against Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
And since all this type of stuff, which in the movie he says, okay, Long Claw pretty much is like, all right, um, you're now going to be the charge of making sure the Master Emerald is safe and such. And that type of responsibility for Sonic, which it took it on its head because in the games and the stories, the comics and the video names, it was Knuckles who was meant to always be the guardian of the Master Emerald. He was
Yeah, so they did
always
kind of
the
change that.
yeah, and I think where they went with it, I think it's a lot better what they did with that in the games and such, personally. But yeah, I really like that whole robotic and Knuckles pairing. It was really fun, and also I do love the let's see um who's Robotnik's like lackey here?
Oh, Agent Stone.
Oh, Agent Stone. That I mean he's getting like at this point I think he's like right there past like Snidley or whatever he was in the Saturday.
Snively.
Yes, he's past him. I think he's the best number two Doctor Robotnik has in like any medium and such. I think he's a really good job of that character and everything. Even though he had
Mm-hmm.
a little less to do at first, but he really did have that type of stuff, that connection later on, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. And also Colin O'Shaughnessy being voicing Miles Tails Prowler was great. It's nice to have a voice actor who's
Mm-hmm.
actually who actually voiced an actual voice actress in a movie like this to actually do that. And not only that, but actually promote her too, which was amazing.
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
Colleen was owning up on this moment. I follow her on Facebook. She's been propping up the movie for the past couple of weeks now, taking pictures at the premieres, and so on and so forth. And it's oh yeah, it's just a good old time she's having. But she's joined the movie club now, so
And my
look.
hope is more voice actors and actresses get these big roles. I
Hmm.
would love to see that. you know, and such. Just have some more voice actors in there, and give a little bit, show a little bit of love to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I look at that, and they did a great job. Again, Ben Schwartz and Colin Society and Idris Elba, when they were together, I think they had great chemistry. The voice acting and the voice directing really did. They did a really good job because
Mm-hmm.
I mean we have to say that because they have it's quite easy to feel like to say they could be like star power but yet have no connection, no energy, no chemistry, but these three have really good chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I really like they have really good chemistry.
Indeed. Um, well, it's a different kind of chemistry, but it works nonetheless. Um, I like the buddy movie that it turns into with Sonic and Tails being together, bonding on this journey to find the Master Emerald. I didn't know that I needed this. I didn't know that the world needed this, but a dance off with Uptown Funk.
Oh yes, and these two really did. I'm like that was hilarious, and I loved it. And seeing Sonic and Tails do those dance and everything else was great, and also showed a little bit of that hologram technology that will be used later in the film. So it was good stuff there.
Hmm. Oh yeah, uh, the scenes between them, you figure out exactly what Tails' history is in this particular universe. That also made me think. Uh, Tails first shows up here. He's driving a police car, and hits Knuckles. I'm just sort of thinking after that, Tails stole a cop car. Oh dang, my boy's got a record.
Well, don't worry. It's a local. The sheriff down there over in the Green Hills are not really that observant.
Mm,
And by the way, speaking of the like Donut Lord and such, I think James Marshall was okay. He was there.
mm-hmm.
Oh well, I mean, I didn't like hate him when in the first movie, but they just you know um they were
They
just there.
they they sidelined him for this movie. It's not his movie.
And smart, and it was smart because again, people want to see. I mean, what other story can you actually tell with with Tom Bukowski and all this stuff? What
Mm-hmm.
is their story to tell? And I don't think there's much stories to tell with them anymore. But yeah.
Apparently, well, what they do here is it's Tom's extended family that has the purpose here and to the plot, and that's to apparently introduce Gunn.
Oh gosh, I like the wedding and everything else, and by the way, I did love the whole snowboarding stuff and Sonic really showing and it actually shows Knuckles the whole battle and everything else before that, and it's like Knuckles he was about to join Sonic and saying and stuff, but then Tails shocks him and everything, calls him deceiver, and then Tails gets knocked down, and
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, and Knuckles sees that he got he didn't go after the compass, but yet went with his friend. It's like, is he really the seeds of doubt is starting
Mm-hmm.
to really get to Knuckles and such. But yeah, it was really the whole chase and everything, and yeah, and having oh by the way, I love the way they put the Sonic music in Tom's cell phone. I was like,
Do 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 do. No,
and I'm like, the question is like, wait, does Sonic games exist in this universe, or is that was just a random thing?
that I'm guessing in this particular universe, that's just something that comes with the phone. It sounds like a ringtone, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guarantee you by the time this weekend is up, there's gonna be so many people putting that on their ringtones right now, or just multiple Sonic ringtones there.
And every time you get a text message, it's going to be "Pring." It's going to be the ring noise. So the surprise. I think the surprise underdog story here, uh, uh, moving into the third act, and a lot of people didn't like the side plots with the human characters, but I think Rachel had a moment to shine here.
Oh yeah, see, and actually, it was funny enough. That is the third time I saw a golf cart used pretty much in the pretty much trying to take out people. That's the third time I saw it in a in a not in a fictional setting and such. Third time, and I loved it. And I wish it was golf carts were used more like this. But yeah, I did love the fact they all the government people said, "Oh, we're here to be the right here the guardian units of nations," and they just said, "Gun." You like that I did like the fact that's how they basically bring up gun here, which was pretty much a smart way to do it. A quick way but smart way to do it. But yeah.
hmm Yeah, so yeah, Gunn is in the movie. They're they're the Shield agents here apparently of this
Mm.
universe.
Here's hoping that they will be a lot more effective than the Shield in the MCU. That's
Mhm.
the only hope. And honestly, I did love the old general saying, you should have just called us and stuff like that. But yeah, they trapped them all and locked them up and everything. And
hmm
they just say, "Oh, Robotnik's back." They're like, "Oh, Robotnik's not back. He's still gone and everything else." And they say, "Oh, just," and he called him like, "Okay, just check to see if Robotnik's back or whatever." And then after all that, guess what happens? Robotnik's like, it is like, "Oh, Robotnik is back." He's like, "Yeah," and after he was tied up and everything. Um, and I did love Rachel's moment, by the way. She just comes in, takes out the guy, takes everyone out, and had Tails' little gun and shot the wedding cake.
Was I
And
the only one thinking about the noisy cricket from Men in Black when that came
yeah, oh
out?
no, that was pretty much what it was. And it wasn't like it was like, oh my goodness. It was to me, I was like, oh yeah, now there's a problem. Nope, there's no problem. And he's just like, okay. And it's like, oh my gosh, am I hurt? Like, no, you're fine. You were tased. Just get up and like, I feel cold. You're on an ice statue. uh,
All
I
right.
just, and I did like the fact they actually finally got together. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was like a Medea movie, only if it was actually funny. But but regardless, yeah. Fast forwarding into the third act, we have Labyrinth Zone. Now this is perfect actually because the ocean basically opens up and they're racing to get to the Master Emerald at the end of this. I love the fact that they used that in particular because it builds on something that was established or that has been hypothesized actually by certain fans, Sonic Guru Dan among them. If you go through Labyrinth Zone in the game, you will find owl faces in the level, and just the fact that they do that here, they have worked that into this film's lore and given that an explanation.
oh yeah, and I do like yeah, Sonic just speeding through and Robotnik and them like, you know, they're like, okay, just not work hard, like using his little thing here, like, okay, whoop, and just said, okay, find out all the traps while Robotnik and Knuckles were like, doing this. Well, oh, here it is. We're gonna finally get to that, the Emerald, and then just before Robotnik was about to legitimately take out Knuckles, with the little electricity thing, Sonic comes down like it's boom, like this whole like just crashes down with a boulder or something next to him. It's like, oh, finally I made it through. I like, yeah, I love that.
You
And
gotta have the fight between the two of them.
and honestly, I was like, at first, Sonic again gets his butt kicked, of course, because Knuckles is, well, you know, he's strong. He doesn't chuckle. Um, and but yeah, he comes right back, and actually takes him down.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, and then next, while they're fighting, Robotnik, of course, betrays both. I mean, betrays Knuckles, and then says, "Yep," now absorbs the Master Emerald, and just about to go and take over the entire, well, the world with his old big old robot. His whole is his
Egg
egg
robot,
mech.
egg robo.
Hmm.
Yes, it's finally, yes, this thing is finally here. The giant egg robot that's in every other game. He's finally constructed it with the power of his mind. Um,
And Agent Stone, and I like the fact Agent Stone's like, take me with you, and then trying to find a, and he says like, I love the fact when the Tails and all this stuff they came back or whatever. I know I'm skipping ahead, but I'll go back to it later. I like the fact he has that whole like this egg smash just smashes the plane. Tails is like, ooh, I didn't know we had this. I'm like, yes, he did. The manual. I was like, that was like right there.
that's
I'm like, that's
the
what Agent
Genesis.
Stone. Yeah.
Yeah, he's holding up a Genesis manual.
Yes. And by the way, before we get to that, I like the fact that Sonic and Knuckles did have that connecting thing again.
Mm-hmm.
They did like that whole throwing sand on each other and such, and Knuckles, like maybe he is that like maybe he's like, you know what, Sonic is not that bad, and they joined forces with Tails coming in and going in and trying to take out this huge egg mech. Mm.
And my goodness, the way that they attack it, I was just saying, okay, we've gotten samples from Sonic Adventure in terms of the overall feel of how this plays out. We've got plot elements from Sonic 2 and 3 sort of jammed in there. Now we finally get to the final battle, and I'm feeling Sonic Heroes vibes
Oh
all the way.
yes,
Just the way that they approach that thing, the way that they bounce off of each other. It
yes, and I like the fact Sonic's like we need to find him. His weakness is Knuckles is like the grind. It's always the grind, and it's like his that the voice and such. I'm like, he's like, no, we're not. And then like Sonic's, yes, I am the grind. It's like what? This that type of way of going back and forth and everything. So it was hilarious because these again it shows right to the chemistry these three have,
mhm.
and Sonic using his speed to distract Knuckles, and Tails using Knuckles using his strength and Tails using his smarts to
Mm-hmm.
take down the egg mech.
Exactly. So we have, and so we have that big climactic final battle. We think Sonic is about to get smushed, and then we have the one thing that uh, McDonald's toys accidentally leaked and spoiled weeks ago before the movie's premiere. Super
Su-
Sonic.
Supersonic racing.
Do 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 do.
Yep, Supersonic and him basically laying. I mean, I knew Sonic. I was like, yeah, he will appear and such. But yeah, this Supersonic basically takes out everything. Before that, I want to say this: Knuckles having the best thing before he knocks out the Master Emerald from Robotnik. He's like, I am a hologram too, Robotnik. It's like, really? And then he just goes in and just knocks out the the Master with one good gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
Knuckles is great, and honestly, him, Sonic coming in and just taking out, using like Robotnik trying to be like being doing his best, Dr. Wiley, moment saying,
Mm-hmm.
please, I'm sorry, I forgive me and everything else. And then he's like, oh, and then he just comes and tries to knock him out, and Sonic's like, nah, it's done. And just
Mm-hmm.
lays him out, and he's like, oh, and he's like, oh, it's like that now, and he just falls down, which, yeah.
When my fiance can attest to this. When that happened, when Supersonic appears, and not only was the crowd applauding, and, a lot of kids and whatnot, but I was in there in the audience just going, "Woo! Kick his ass!"
I was just
And
like cheering.
yes, cheering it on. I yeah, it's always a fun it's always fun to have a very interactive audience, I think. But yeah, Robotnik falls. Sonic ends the movie with, "Hey, I got some new buddies now. Let's all go play baseball together."
Oh yeah, and by the way, I did like the fact Knuckles did. I think he says, "Oh, the supersonic thing is like he's not the Sonic you knew," which is like it was kind of like a Fleetway reference because when Fleetway Sonic turned supersonic, well, he was basically a different entity. It was like a
A
Jekyll and
god.
Hyde, yeah, Jekyll Hyde situation,
Hmm.
and and I'm happy they didn't go with that way because honestly, the stuff I read with Fleetway Sonic and some of the comics I read, and I'm like, I'm not, I'm gonna say it. That Sonic was a prick, and I hated that version of Sonic. That's why I'm like, yeah, give me I did not like Sonic the comic. Um,
Yeah, I remember reading tidbits and here and there, and like, he's such a jerk to Tails. What is your problem, dude?
yeah, I just I did not care for him at all. And I did like the fact, like after the chili dogs and everything else, he it fell right into his like face, Knuckles face, like yeah, he is basically the same guy.
Hmm.
And then after that, Knuckles restores the Master Emeralds from leading Shards, and then he says, I have this, but I don't know what else. And then Tails says it was generations of warriors defending um of the not Master Emerald. So they all three
Hmm.
now share the responsibility
Yeah,
of Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails, and now the Emerald's Guardians, which I'm like, that's cool. I like that.
they've formed a new tribe and everything, and they're gonna be the group guardians of the Master Emerald.
Oh yeah, and I love the baseball scene here too, which Knuckles is just really doesn't know. It's like, is this what this is, and everything else, and then he just like he hits it. It's like it does the power bump thing with his fist, and he's just like, yes, I have conquered first base. I have conquered
I've conquered
second.
second.
Exactly. I'm like, I'll let them have that fun. And in the end, they had the Master Emerald in the cooler. Of course they do. And that's what it is. And they all go away happily ever after, which, Knuckles finally would get, ice cream with sprinkles, and he was so happy about that.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
See, as Stone actually goes in, infiltrates Gun, because at this point, of course he does. And then he's searching for Robotnik's, and we can't find him. But then he says, there's like some 50-year-old file containing coordinates of a research facility. He says, oh no, Project Shadow has been uncovered. So we're just skipping all the way from Sonic 2 to Knuckles to basically Sonic Adventure 2,
mm-hmm.
which I'm like, so they're gonna have the lizard thing, which I'm like, it's a shame because I like Chaos though. I really do. Part of me wishes they could just combine some of the stories too, because have chaos and shadow, whatever, and to call or whatever. I think that could be a interesting story because Sonic Adventure 2. I mean, there's a lot more new characters they have to bring in. They have to bring in Rogue. They have to bring in E. One or two
Even
Omega.
to Gamma.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gamma and
they're copying sort of the Marvel universe uh, uh, formula with this. That's, oh yeah, we'll have this sort of this. We'll pick and choose what parts of the story that we want to play out, or what games we want to play out. And you know what? We could see chaos in a future movie. I would like that. I would
oh
like to.
yeah,
I think that would make sense. I think that there could be a lot more fleshing out. They announced with Paramount Plus they're doing
Knuckles
a
series,
a
and here's
Knuckles
hoping
series.
that it'll better than the Halo series right now, which it's
Mm,
not looking good for you. I'm like, how is it possible that Halo, which a lot of people have been, in the games at least have been better, in the comics and everything else, have like probably not has pretty much have a frustrating video game series outing. It reminds me so much of season one's version of Titans, which is not a good thing. You don't want to be DC Titans and such. You don't want to go that path, believe me.
mm.
Um, and with Sonic, it's just they're going this, well, we're gonna change some things and such, and make it feel like more connected to the games and more and honestly, that's what people have wanted the entire time, a connection and be like, this is what we wanted the entire time.
The best way to describe this movie is just saying whereas the first one it still worked. It was but it was more of a road trip comedy than an actual, resembling much of the games. This is the one that comes along and says, "You want the games, you got the games. This is this is the movie. This is the movie that you wanted." And for that I really can't thank Jeff Fowler and his team enough for taking everything in this particular this particular direction. I want to see where this goes for a third movie, and yeah, Amanda and I are definitely getting this on Steelbook when it hits
Oh
Blu-ray.
yes, same here. I'm gonna get this when it does, and I'm guessing hopefully I'm gonna check out the Knuckles series, which I don't know what they're going to do with that. Is he gonna
I
leave the Sonic crew? Because I don't think they're gonna have him. Supposedly they are gonna have a spinoff series, so maybe this is how they're gonna bring in Amy or something. Maybe he's gonna have a Vision quest saying I have to go do this little stuff. Sets up Sonic 3. Because hey, he's out there searching. Have that, say he's looking for something, and this how he meets Rogue. There you go.
Rouge,
Rouge. Rogue,
yes,
Rouge.
Rogue
Yeah.
Rouge. And at which point we're gonna have to explain to the kiddos what breasts are.
Oh, that's
But
fun. Or you can have like the chaotics there. You can bring in the chaotics through Knuckles and be like, make more of a chaotics can have like a Guardians of the Galaxy feel. Well, more
mhm.
so than that sort of thing. So a PG version of Guardians of the Galaxy, and I don't know what else they can do. I mean, I don't think they're gonna put Cream the Rabbit anytime soon in there. So,
mm, and God forbid they use Big the cat. Uh,
that's when that will be the end of the whole series right there.
yeah.
For all,
They
uh,
we yeah he was introduced basically to sell the Dreamcast peripheral for
oh, that the fishing thing, which
the
I
fishing
did get, but I never used it for anything else. I think I had a fishing game, you know,
Sega
and
Bass Pro
Sega
fishing.
Bass, and I played it, but I was like, if I wanted to do this, I just go out and fish with my. I was like, I could just do this with my dad or whatever. And that's what I did. I like fish. I'm like, I just don't see the whole idea of like that type of stuff, unless it's like really bad and like, man, I want to like, man, I got to move to fish, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, but I'm like, when I play video games, I'm like, let me just play something else, like Sonic event, have some fun or whatever. And I noticed I mean that's probably the reason why the whole thing looked still a bit awkward to play like in the the ports and everything because it's just like made just for that peripheral and no one
Mhm.
really cared for it.
My theory about the Knuckles series is they're probably going to be it's probably going to go into Knuckles training, growing up and whatnot, and going into a bit more of the story between the owls the Owl tribe and the Echidna tribe. Which, by the way, Ken Penders, the scribe who came up with this is particularly amazing. He hasn't even seen Sonic 2. This is a guy who wrote for the Archie Sonic comics.
Oh yes, Kim Penders.
Ken Penders, he is already threatening to sue over this movie
Oh no! Oh gosh, not
because
this.
because because they came up with the fact that Knuckles belongs to a tribe, then he must have a father. Then it must be ripping off what I did.
Oh gosh,
Oh
this
my
whole thing
god.
again. Oh man, let this dude. I'm like, his comic with that freakish Linda character came out yet? Um,
Hmm.
I'm like, focus on your own stuff, man. Focus on
Yeah.
your stuff and move on. He's
Yeah.
and now he's trying to mine for. Let me see. Last I checked, let me just see if I can look this up. The last time I checked with him, looked it up for him, is that he was like in the NFT thing, saying, "Please, just NFTs to my character," which is
Nobody
pretty much it.
cares.
Yeah.
To quote Dr. Robotnik, I'm sorry, what was your name again? Nobody cares.
Oh yeah. His
Um,
NFTs, by the way, he's like it was like in February. His like his NFT set of Scourge, Julie Sue, aka Shade, Green Knuckles, Geoffrey St. John, and Robo Robotnik. And guess how much they will be priced at? Supposedly at 100K each.
no one's gonna buy that. Uh, Moving on from that, we also now have a rumored Tails solo movie, which
Oh yeah.
if they do that, um, it's probably gonna go direct to streaming. Uh, they're trying to set up Paramount Plus, so they gotta do something like that. And two, um, and two, if they do something like that, and it's like an origin story or something, I'm imagining I'm imagining sort of a Revenge of the Nerds scenario where Tails is being a bit of the outcast in his tribe, but uh, he's uh, he's getting back at the people that pick on him
And
with
maybe
this.
this is a way you could put vanilla and cream there. It's like, they were like the first guardians for him and something like that, you know?
Oh yeah,
That's the way you could do it.
yeah, it's like
Or
it's all different.
Amy. I don't know. By the way, still no Amy sighting, which
Still
is
no Amy sighting.
hmm.
I had a I had a coworker who probably who watched the movie last night and was already hypothesizing that maybe Amy was going to be the one to show up at the end of this movie. I bet he's pissed.
Yeah. Um, I don't. I look at that and I'm just like I'm wondering when I because Amy was the one that talked Shadow down, so I don't know how they're going to they're gonna really rush the introduction of Amy, and maybe that's where the Knuckles series comes in, but I don't know.
We'll see when we get to that. I have faith in the direction that they're going here. You know, this is not this is going to be this is we're not at the actual Avengers movie and this particular franchise yet. We're still building up to it. We're still introducing characters. Let's give this let's ride this wave.
Oh
I'm
yes, I'm hopeful, and I'm really hopeful. And meanwhile, Mario is sitting there with his illumination with Chris Pratt.
the Chris. Okay, I'm not
I'm
gonna.
laughing. I'm not gonna bash him, but it's just like I'm like, man, the people who are the Nintendo fans, I'm like, they are just hoping that at least it's who'd have thought Sonic would outpace Mario at this point, which
Hmm.
it's sad.
It's well, I don't know. Maybe Chris Pratt is gonna be good at this, or doing something different with Mario. I can picture him a little bit more as Mario than I can as Garfield, which is also happening. And and I mean no disrespect to Chris Pratt, but I will say this. People were talking about with Sonic 2 how revolutionary it was that they actually got uh, they got Colleen Shahinissi's name on the poster and how big of a deal that is. Yeah, that is a pretty big deal. You know what? They already did it first though with the Mario movie announcement saying Charles Martinet is going to be in the movie.
Mm.
They kind
Yeah.
of beat to the punch there. But I like this current trend where we're giving more and more voice actors their due. Um, and I hope we can I hope we can get some more celebrity voice actors some recognition in major Hollywood movies.
Yeah. And maybe actually, stop doing the whole let's bring celebrity stuff. Bring in some more voice actors that actually can, you know, can do the characters justice and saved a little bit of money to instead of paying like a millions of dollars for actors that are not voice actors, put more money into the animators and the marketing budget, that sort of thing, and then
Hmm.
people will actually watch and go see it.
Oh yeah, I mean they did well. They did that with and I know not a lot of people went to go see this, but I enjoyed it. They did that. They did that with Scoob a couple years ago. Almost, giving Frank Welker his top billing in the credits, which
Oh yeah.
that man is a veteran.
Oh yeah, and also shout out to Teen Titans Go, the movie that actually did that as well, the original voice actors and everything else. But
Hmm.
yeah.
For those of you who still watch Teen Titans Go. uh,
Oh
all right.
yeah, but I think
Well,
that's pretty much it. Thanks for everyone joining and watching and all this stuff. But by the way, highly recommend Sonic 2. Great for the whole family, by the way, if you
hmm
want to go see it and all this stuff. And thank you for Jamietud. I got it right this time.
hmm
For joining me for this. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you much for watching. Dixie T here. Peace, love. See y'all when I see y'all later.
ciao for now. Got a juice.